love the Cooler Master logo on the pump housing, and you can see the fan really spinning, and it looks really, really nice. Hey everyone, Digital David here. Today I'm going to be checking out the Cooler Master MasterLiquid ML120L V2 RGB CPU cooler. I did receive this product to review, but any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product, you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. You can see the nice retail box and packaging right here walking us through some of the key tech specs and features. This does work with Intel and AMD CPUs, and this features 3rd gen dual chamber pump technology. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and look at the contents. Here are all the contents. First up, you can see our product literature right here. So Cooler Master does a great job walking you through everything you need to know setup wise, whether you're doing Intel or AMD, they walk you through everything, double-sided, with all of the charts and diagrams letting you know how to get the brackets installed to properly mount it to your motherboard and CPU. And they even have some wiring instructions right here for the RGB as well. And you can see a QR code you can scan if you need any additional help or information. Next, we have our warranty info followed by our bracket. You can see our fan right here. So check that out. This is the SickleFlow 120. So 650 to 1800 RPMs. You can see the connectors right there. Then we have all of our hardware, so tons of different screws, brackets, mounts, everything we need, again, whether it's Intel or AMD, and they have some of them labeled for you depending on the socket type. Additional cables, we have our thermal paste as well. This is the Master Gel Pro thermal compound. And last but not least, you can see the cooler itself. Look at how nice that looks. Nice compact radiator as well too. Cooler Master logo and branding on it. And you can see our connectors right here. So we have our RGB and we have our power. Now let's go ahead, let's get this installed. So first up, you can see the parts and components that we're gonna install right here. Pay attention to the screws that we're using, if you can see them in that baggie. We're gonna be using those 4 screws to attach this bracket to the cooler itself. So you can see I already peeled off the sticker. Be sure to peel off the sticker. And then basically you're gonna have the bracket lined up top like you see right here. And then the screws are gonna come through the bottom and fasten it in place. So go ahead, you're gonna do that on both sides. All right, so there we go. You can see we have the bracket installed right here. Again, just those 4 screws tightening everything in place. Now we're ready to get this on the board and the CPU. All right, so now you can see we have our CPU installed. We're leaving the default AMD bracket on, which is gonna make this installation very easy. Now we can go ahead, we can take our thermal paste and we're gonna apply a pea-sized amount at the center. So you can see, you can use all the thermal paste that's in here. They're gonna give you the correct allotment, which is nice. But we have enough right there, front and center, pea-sized, and now we're ready to take the cooler and get it installed. So at this stage, consider a couple of things with your build. Where are these wires in relationship to where they need to connect on your board? That'll help with your cable management. So for me, it's probably gonna make the most sense to point those wires up because they're gonna connect up here and we can kind of tuck them out of the way. With the test bench, it's not gonna matter as much, but keep that in mind with your particular build. And where are you gonna route this radiator and fan? You wanna make sure that you have that in the correct position as well. Is it gonna go to maybe the left side of your case as an exhaust fan? Is it gonna go up top? Then you wanna make sure that you have it routed the best way that's not gonna obstruct and block the most of your build. So for me, for this particular build, it really doesn't matter. We'll probably just fling this out of the way, but you can see what we're gonna do right here. We're gonna have it be just like this. And then these little brackets, they just hook underneath. So make sure yours is loose enough. You can do a test fit before you put it on. So in this case, we're gonna tighten everything down now. We have ours on. It's just gonna take a minute to make sure that it's tight enough on both sides. So we're in on this side too. So same thing, just finger tight, lefty loosey, righty tighty. tighten it all the way down, nice and snug on both sides. All right, so there you go. You can see we have it tightened down. Now let's go ahead, let's make our connections. So you can see we have our pump connected to the pump fan 1 option right here, and we're gonna take our CPU fan 1 and we're gonna connect our fan to the radiator and then plug it into that slot. So let's go ahead, let's get our fan installed. So for fan installation, we're gonna use the included fan and these 4 screws right here to get it installed to the radiator. Pay attention on the fan. You can see on this one, it's tucked away in one of the corners. They have our airflow diagram for us. So maybe you can see that right there. You can see the direction of the airflow coming through this way on the fan and then out the other side. Also at this step, if you want to install this at the beginning, before you mount to the motherboard, that's fine too. So for us, we're going to choose to have the RGB visible and push the air through the radiator, and then it's going to exit out of the case. You could also mount this on the other side of the radiator if you want to pull that air through the radiator and then push it out as well. It's really up to you and what you're after. Then for us too, knowing how everything's going to go and connect, I want to make sure the cables are on this side of our radiator. So we're going to line it up. We have our screw holes, and then we're just going to feed this right through the fan like you see here and thread it right into the radiator itself. So now let's go ahead and do that. So there we go. You can see it's fastened in place. It's not going to move or go anywhere. Now for us, we could just let this hang down since we're just installing this on the test bench. It's not going to be a permanent install. But what's nice about this bench, we can actually fold this up too, and then we can mount it right here on the side of our case. So let's go ahead, let's get it mounted, and then let's connect the rest of our cables. All right, so you can see we have it installed right here. I did not use the 4 included screws that came with it. They were too tiny due to the thickness of this plate on my particular case, but that's no big deal because I had some screws that came with this case that fit great. You shouldn't have any issues with your case and these screws. It's going to be a standard size and length, but if you do, hopefully your case comes with some extra screws that you would need. Now let's go ahead, let's finish connecting everything. All right, so we have everything connected. I went ahead, I just wanted to connect the RGB lights up top so you guys could see how I did that here. And pay attention, we connected our 1 radiator fan to our CPU fan 1 header. So what did I do for the RGB? Well, you can see right here, they come with a nice coupler to keep everything together. Make sure you line up the arrows pointing at each other. This is our 12 volt RGB, so find the correct header on your motherboard. This is not a RGB, which would be your 5 volt, which in my case is the J Rainbow 1 and 2. This one is our J RGB 1 connector. And we still have room for 1 additional fan we can connect off of that, which is great. Now you may notice I did not use this guy right here, so we could connect it all through this if we want and control it right here. And then this is going to connect here to connect to our power supply. So if you want to do that, that's simple and straightforward. So plug it in here, then you're going to connect this end to this end right there, and you can control everything right off that connection and position this where you want. And we have an included adapter for you to use as well to make sure that everything connects, because you may notice right here we have the female version there, so you will need to use this male to male adapter to connect everything if you want to use this nice little controller that they included. So with that being said, let's go ahead, let's power everything up and try it out. All right, so check it out. You can see I got everything plugged in and powered on, and it's working great. Really happy with everything. Really quickly, let me turn off all the studio lights so we can look at the RGB in more detail. All right, so check it out in the dark right here. The RGB looks great. Love the Cooler Master logo on the pump housing, and you can see the fan really spinning, and it looks really nice. So those RGB colors are synced up together, and we don't have the RGB with the RAM synced up yet, but you can just see very bright and they look great. Now we're in our hardware monitor in our CPU BIOS, and you can see our CPU temps right here. It's doing a great job. Our core temp, 31 degrees Celsius. You can see our socket temp, 27 degrees Celsius. So it's keeping everything nice and cool. Now, with that being said, this is an open air case, so we're going to probably see even cooler results than you would in more of a traditional PC case. But as long as you have some fans exhausting the heat and some fans bringing in some fresh, nice intake air, you're not going to have any issues with this cooler at all whatsoever. So count me impressed. It's actually quieter than I was expecting as well. It's nearly silent. I can't hear it at all. So that being said, with my ear being so close and this case being open, I feel like occasionally, if I listen very intently, I might be able to hear what I'm calling a trickle of water. It's not leaking or anything like that. I can just hear some water moving around in the unit. But that's few and far between, and if you're using a more traditional PC case, I would expect that you would never hear this at all. Well, that concludes our video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget the product link will be in our video description below. Please go ahead, check it out, and do your shopping from there. Any purchase made through that link helps support our channel at no additional cost to you. So we're really grateful and thankful for all of your support. While you're at it, can you go ahead and hit that like button for us? And subscribe to our channel. We have new content coming out daily, and we don't want you to miss anything. Please go ahead and give us a follow online and make it a clean sweep. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, Discord. You can message us on WeChat, check out our website, and join our free newsletter. Thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget new content daily, and we can't wait to see you in our next video.